Hi, this is Roland, and we're going to be looking at MAG, that's short for Make AE Great or Make After Effects Great. So we're going to be looking at modLayerSelector and the endLayerSelector and all of the other scripts that come with Mac. Now, mod is short for modern, so it's modLayerSelector, and all the scripts have a help button, at least in each section, and there's also a if you see a black screen or a black window, that means you can select and copy and paste it anywhere, but ideally you would paste it here in the search box. Now, more just like the endLayerSelector, it has a name input for you to select, but it also supports special commands, including Boolean. When you're typing in special commands or special words to search for, they must be within the double pipes. Alright, that's your vertical line thingy. It's right above your enter key on your main keyboard. Okay, one of the interesting things that it does is you can do Boolean, right? Like I said, so you can do type it like this, and or not. Those are options for you. You can also search for numbers. These are supported outside of regex, so don't enable regex, and you can type in here. So these are numbers, and they're very powerful, and I'm going to show you one right now. So I can put in suffix. Well, there's no suffixes here, so I'm going to do the numbers. So just type in number, again, the brackets. So you got to put an inequality sign, and in here you would see the example here. And it's here, right? So this is an example how to use it. If I put n greater than, let's say, 5, it would select that. This is 300, this is 11, this is 8. Okay, now it's selected a layer which is locked. If you want to specify not locked, you would type it out like this. This is how you write not something, right? Not shy, not hidden. These are some of the more advanced options available. Deselect your selection modes. This should be self-explanatory. I'll show you these. They're super powerful. So if you leave this blank, then it will just ignore them and go with the other options that are there. That's what's nice about this design. And the reason we have two layer selectors is modLayerSelector is based on selecting layers based on structure and hierarchy in your timeline, whereas endLayerSelector is more for searching for attributes, and you can search or select based on patterns also. Right, we'll come to that later. So if you leave this blank, then all layers will be part of the search pattern or within the search group. You can select layers above and below, but for this option, make sure you select the layer. If you don't select the layer, the script will let you know that, hey, if you want to select layers above, you need to have at least one layer selected. There you go. All right. You can also select based on, oh, sorry, there's this option, eh? This one's a bit tricky, yeah? Let's try it. Whoops. Okay. What does this mean? Because as you can see, there's more than one layer selected, and sometimes you've got a selection like this. Um, so you want to do a search based on layers above or below, and it wants to know, do you want to start selecting from the top selection, the top layer, or the bottom layer? Get the idea? If we choose this option, it will disregard these two and only include all those above the top layer. Get the idea? Right? And if we choose layers below um, and choose this option, it's not going to work actually, this option, because you need to choose this option. Right? Start from the bottom selection. So, well, actually, this will work. We had this just now, I think. So it will search from bottom, meaning bottom from the top layer. So in this case, it will only search this single layer. Alright, so it's insanely powerful. Now, you can also select based on time references, right? Timeline means the entire timeline. And then work area range, that's the work area. Alright, you've got CTI, you've got marker. Marker works the same way as the CTI. It's just that sometimes you don't want to use the CTI. It may be used for something else. You can use a marker. You will create a marker and don't change the name because that's the name the script's going to be looking for. So for work area, you specify in and out points of your layer. Alright? Not of your work area, because your work area range is already defined there with its own in and out. So these in and out points are for your layer. So I want to find all layers that whose in point is within the work area range. Oh, I need to select all layers. Alright, so it's found these guys are out, right? This guy is out, this guy is in. It's in point is within the work area range, and so is this guy. Alright? If I click red, that means I've selected red as part of my search pattern or my search filter. It will disregard this guy because its label is not red. So for those of you who obsessively structure your timeline, this will work beautifully. So as you've seen, I've not done a selection for my out point, and it still works. And if you want, you can do that. So I want layers whose in and out points are within the work area, and this is the only guy there. I've deselected the red. Okay, so again, the label colors works the same way here. If you don't select anything, it will just totally disregard names and layer label colors. Next, I want to cover something insanely powerful, and that is the shortcut modifier keys. Okay, if you hold shift and click here, that will also trigger the select layers button. Right, and it works with these guys and these guys also. See that? It's as good as clicking here, because my UI is pretty large, so to make it more user friendly, I made it a shift click, and it works for, or it should work for all the video buttons except here. I don't think it works for these guys here because I think it's too dangerous. See, it doesn't work. So only for the options up there. Now, so that's one shortcut key. Yeah? So for some, not all the radio button, shift click will also trigger the main action button for that section, or in this case for the script. Shift click here will select everything. Shift click here again will deselect because they were in a selected state. So the shift click is an all or nothing button. You either select all or you deselect all, depending on what you click. Okay, If you shift click on an item that is not selected, that means you will select all. Alright, so I've got peach and green selected. If I now shift click on red, which is unselected, it's going to select all. Okay, now if I click on red and yellow, and now if I shift click on yellow, it's going to deselect all. Get the idea? So context is whether you shift click on an item that is already selected or not selected, and it will affect all the other objects or items in that group. Another useful shortcut, well, the single click is pretty obvious, yeah? They act as a toggle. So click once, it selects in this case, and then click again, it deselects. If I want to solo a selection, hold down Alt or Option Shift, click, it will solo that selection. See that? Now if I wanted yellow, I will hold down Alt Shift or Option Shift if you're on a Mac, click, everything gets deselected except that. Now this shortcut keys is applicable throughout all the scripts here.